Before we begin, I'd like to confirm one thing. Is there really a killer among us? Anyway, why don't we try talking about the most pressing issue on our minds? Where we found the body. It's very strange to find a body underneath the table. Why was Byakuya's body in a place like that? Try to remember what the body looked like when we found it under the table. Though there was a lot of blood everywhere, there was no sign the killer actually dragged the body through it. So Byakuya snuck under the table for reasons unknown, and that's when he was killed. Then, shortly thereafter, we found his body under the table. The reason why is probably connected to what Byakuya was doing during the party. Don't you think? He probably knew someone was planning to commit a murder. You think so too, right, Hajime? Hajime and I found this in Byakuya's cottage. He probably decided to throw a party because of the letter. By gathering everyone in one place, he tried to create a situation where everyone could keep tabs on each other. In doing so, he tried to put the writer of the letter in a situation where they couldn't act. As long as he was determined not to let any of us die, he couldn't take that risk. His strong sense of responsibility made him believe the letter was legitimate. If he had, we would have panicked. Byakuya probably knew that too, which is why those 3 irons were arranged to cause the blackout. They probably checked the old building's energy usage in advance and used the irons to nearly max it out. So once they set the air conditioner's timers, they just had to wait until they started up on their own. No, the breaker in the office was built into a high area of the wall that's impossible to reach. Resetting the breaker in that darkness would have been impossible. No matter what, it's alright. You don't have to worry, because they're just a petty killer, right? They can't defeat symbols of hope like you guys. There's no way everybody will lose now. This little incident will just be a stepping stone for you all. In the end, hope always wins. That's what I believe. Huh? What do you mean? Oh, is that so? Well, let's just put that minor detail aside for now and talk about the incident. For now, we found out how the blackout occurred. But the question is, who caused it, right? Anybody could have hid and set the timers for the air conditioners. Setting up the irons in the storage room could have been done before Byakuya set foot in the old building. What a shame. Any one of us is capable of that. Unfortunately, it's the truth. Despite the fact that we've discussed this at length, there's not even one clue that leads to the killer. But that might be because there's no way any of us could be a killer. Anyway, I have an idea about what we all should do at this point. Has anyone thought about our situation like this? Instead of surviving by doubting others, isn't it better to get killed for believing in others? You guys only think there's something wrong with me because there's something wrong with you. Suspecting each other like this. There's no way that's healthy behavior. Let's stop this already. We don't have to find out who the killer is. I can't stand this anymore. I don't want to do this to my friends. We're all friends, aren't we? There's no way one friend would murder another. Who cares? Let's just give up already. There are no clues that lead to the killer anyway. Not a single one. Did you say something? I see. Then care to tell me, what's this clue you're talking about? Didn't we already cover that? They use glowing paint as a mark. The desk lamp. I hope you don't mean they turned on a light or something. Me? That's just a coincidence. That's... Seriously! That's all just a coincidence! The Ultimates are working together to combat the despair of their friend's death! How wonderful! How beautiful it is! Let's cut to the chase. You're correct. It was my doing all along. I'm the one who hid the knife under the table before the party started. I'm the one who used the power cord to find my way to the table in the dark. And of course, I'm the one who caused the blackout. After all, there's no way I'd knowingly whip out a knife in front of everyone, right? But I never expected Byakuya to have night vision goggles. Because of that, we had ourselves a little scuffle under the table. And, well, you all saw how that played out. But with a twist ending like this, I think we can all agree this ended up being a very interesting mystery. Byakuya performed admirably. Me? Lie? That's outrageous! There's no way someone like me could ever lie to you guys. I understand better than anyone else that I'm ultimately worthless. I'm too arrogant to have dreams or cling to hope. I'm too disdainful to actually try at anything. I've made peace with the fact that I'm a lowly, stupid, insignificant human who can't do anything right. Yep, I sure did. There's nobody else on this island whose handwriting is that painful to look at, right? I think, somewhere deep in my heart, I was probably hoping to find someone who would stop my evil deeds. Well, I bet if that really was my reason, at least some of you would feel sorry for me. Yep, that's true too. But you're wrong about one thing. I didn't need to rig the drawing for cleaning duty, you know? I see. Well, there's no way I'd expect you to remember it. A worthless talent for a worthless human. That's right. I just trusted my luck. I trusted I'd be picked for cleaning duty. It's not just luck. It's true my talent sucks. But I'm still the ultimate lucky student, you know? At the time, Hajime said I wasn't lucky. But it was actually the opposite. I was lucky. That's why I got picked for cleaning duty. Just like I wanted. Byakuya was a very capable leader. For someone like him to get killed? Oh, the despair it brings. It's only fitting that you symbols of hope should use his death as a stepping stone to shine even brighter. That was my only motivation. Is this what you're trying to say, Mikan? As long as we can't prove that the knife is the murder weapon, we can't assume that I'm the killer. Hey, don't blame me. Mikan's the one who said it. Who knows? Nobody can see in the dark, no matter how hard you think about it. The truth is beyond your sight. Don't you think that's a pretty clever metaphor? Despite the fact that it came from me? Not it. What's not it? Such perceptive hearing. Impressive. I'd expect no less from the ultimate musician. Well, that's actually what happened. As a sign of respect for Ibuki's talent, I have a small confession to make. I was actually shoved out from under the table by Byakuya just as the blackout occurred. I hurried to duck under the table and grab the knife, but Byakuya, wearing his night vision goggles, caught me and shoved me right out from under the table. That's right. I'm so incompetent that I couldn't even grab the knife. After getting shoved out from under the table, I was just as confused as you guys. I lost sight of the glowing paint, and I didn't even know where the power cord was. Before I realized it, the lights had come back on, and Byakuya's body was lying under the table. From the very beginning, the idea to throw a party, hiding the knife, setting up the blackout, it was all going according to plan. But unfortunately, my plan failed. And all thanks to Byakuya's night vision goggles. What happened after that? Even I don't know. Meaninglessness. What other word is brimming with so much despair? But you can't give up. You need to have hope. Do your best and move forward. Rising to the challenge again and again is why you guys are the symbols of hope. Well, what now? If the knife isn't the murder weapon, there's no definitive proof that I'm the killer. Nobody's ever complimented me on my appearance before. Not even my own mother. I didn't get any blood on me. That is weird. Something that might have been used to block the blood splatter. What do you think it could have been? I guess we did see something I could have used. Isn't that right, Hajime? Wearing a tablecloth, going under the table, getting a knife in a blackout, and stabbing someone. That's not just impossible for someone like me. Wouldn't it also be impossible for you guys too, huh? Hajime, you look like you're onto something. If so, that means the killer was able to get under the floorboards. But from where? And how? It appears we're getting close to the final stage. The blackened or the spotless? Which is superior? I think it's time to settle this. I see. I never considered the portable stove. But there's a hole in your argument. Now then, Hajime, will you battle against me? Will you be able to break through my argument? Did you forget what Kazuichi said earlier? He said the hall was too dark to see the office. The light from the stove that you mentioned, it contradicts his testimony. Or are you intentionally doubting his testimony? The reason Kazuichi couldn't see the office was because the hallway was dark, right? So if a light was shining in such a dark hallway, wouldn't Kazuichi have seen it? After all, he was walking near the hallway, right? Huh? What are you talking about? I see. To actually notice the fire door. Just as expected of the ultimate... Oh, you still don't remember your talent, do you? You sound so scary. If you're that angry, why don't you take a deep breath? Fine, I get it. You're telling me to pass the torch, right? We're going to ask the real killer, not an imposter like me, to show themselves. If you think I am, I really don't mind. Whatever conclusion you ultimates arrive at, I will accept it, no matter what it is. Teru. That attitude is so not like you, for the ultimate cook to get so upset. If you fall to aspersions like this, who will be there to support the future of the culinary arts? That's right. For the future of the culinary arts, you must face this and fight it fair and square. Let's assume that the killer used a light, and that they used the fire door to mask that light, and that they moved to the storage room and snuck under the floorboards. Then what? It's dark under the floorboards too. So how would they be able to stab Byakuya? You're not gonna say they shined the light on Byakuya, right? The plan would have been ruined if he noticed. There's no way you can answer, right? You personally haven't investigated what's beneath the floorboards. So, the killer used the mark that I prepared for finding the knife as a mark for stabbing. I see. That's why Byakuya got killed when he took the knife. Then can I ask everyone a question instead? If Teru is the killer, that would mean he went to the storage room during the blackout. And just what did Ibuki hear during the blackout? Doesn't that prove Teru was in the dining hall during the blackout? That's right. Teru was in the dining hall, not the storage room. Which means he's not the killer. You should be so proud of yourself, Hajime. You're just progressing toward the hope you believe in. Now, Hajime, show me more of your hope. Will that be enough to crush Teru's hope? Let me ask you again. Did you go to the storage room during the blackout? Well, I believe so. There's no way he could have gone back and forth in that dark hallway. Something like this shouldn't be decided by gut instinct. People's lives are at stake. I guess you might have to give up now. Teru. I'm disappointed too, you know. It's lonely watching someone I admire reach the limits of their hope. It kind of feels like a broken dream. Huh? But it's already decided, right? After all this, who cares about the weapon? As expected of Teru. Such a fantastic weapon from the ultimate chef. Jeez, what a disappointment. Such an unseemly defense for an ultimate like you. Can you really call that hope? Nevertheless, we shouldn't ignore it. After all, that game is the motive this time. I'm sure everyone who's beaten the game already knows that it's based on an actual murder case. It means Twilight Syndrome Murder Case is a non-fiction game. Additionally, some of us are characters in that game too. Anyway, let's move on. Next is Girl C. Yeah, that's correct. Let's skip Girl E and talk about Guy F. That reminds me. Wasn't there another person whose last name was also Kuzuryu? It was one of the names on the staff roll. The names were Sumiki, Koizumi, Sayonji, Miyota, Sato, Kuzuryu, and then another Kuzuryu. It's not like I'm wrong. That's how it's written on the staff roll. Since you beat the game, you probably know what this actually means, right? By the way, what role did Guy F's little sister, the other Kuzuryu, play? You probably noticed, right? Based on Guy F's tone in the game, it's clear that Girl E is not his little sister. So if the only person left is the dead high school girl, then she must be Fuyuhiko's sister. Winning personality? Are you praising me? It's not just a game. It's definitely based on true events. That's why it's the motive. I see. So you're never gonna accept that that game is based on true events, huh? Okay, I understand your attitude toward this class trial now. A mystery that easy would make me feel sad. You wouldn't be good enough to serve as everyone's stepping stone. That's why. I'd be much happier if Fuyuhiko wasn't the killer. Then let's hurry up and solve it! Let's first figure out why Girl E was killed, which means Girl E was killed as revenge for the dead high school girl. What do you think, Fuyuhiko? Apparently Girl E was killed to avenge your little sister. But, in order to make that clear, we need to know more about the case involving the first victim's murder. Yep, an understandable explanation. Just as expected from the ultimate gamer who excels at clearing games. By the way, since it was never mentioned in the game, we can exclude the possibility of there being a spare key. After she killed the first victim in the music room, what did Girl E do? Actually, the murder was nearly finished by the time the four girls met in the entrance hall. Girl E killed the victim in the music room, broke the window, and went to the office to get the key. With that key, she locked the music room from the hallway, returned the key to the office, and went back to wait in front of the music room. All she had to do was break the vase in the next door classroom as the four girls met by the entrance hall. But the real important talk begins now. Girl E had someone who can be called an accomplice. That person was actually Girl D. But she should have had a clear murderous intent. I mean, she choked her out and then bludgeoned her to death. But Girl E was also killed by someone on the fourth day, or the game's last day. I might as well ask just in case. Who do you think killed Girl E? That's all you can say. If that game is telling the truth, it'd be a huge problem for you. They're not Hiyoko's footprints? That's strange. The footprint I collected from your room matches these footprints perfectly. Then you didn't meet up with Mahiru at the beach house? The brand of gummies you eat only have strawberry, melon, grape, and orange flavors, right? That's right. None of the gummy bags in her cottage had any yellow ones. I'm pretty sure her death was instant, too. I mean, her injury was only a single blow. That's why Mahiru wasn't the one who blocked the door. Someone else used your body to block it. Hey, Hiyoko, now that our suspicions have been addressed, can you tell us the truth? Even though you're not the killer, you still went to the beach house, right? Yeah, I got that already, so can you give us the details about that trap? The killer forged them so they could manipulate their actions. Yeah, that's how we should think about it. Really? This is really terrible. I've offered to help so many times. But the killer this time didn't discuss their plan with me at all. It's all my fault. I'm so ashamed of being unreliable. You're wrong, Fuyuhiko. We aren't supposed to doubt each other here. We're supposed to work together. The class trial is where we cooperate with each other, work hard, and aim for victory. The killer and everyone else. Two hopes attempting to grasp the one true hope. Two hopes clashing with each other is poetry in motion. That is what a class trial should be. I'm on the side of the absolute hope that can overcome any despair. And I believe that absolute hope exists at the point where two hopes clash. I agree with that as well. There's no way the killer would leave Hiyoko by herself if they were trying to frame her. If Hiyoko was left alone and ruined the evidence the killer had planted, it would have messed up their plan. Instead, It makes more sense to think that the killer was hiding in the beach house, watching Hiyoko. Sorry, Akane. It's not like that. Hey, Monokuma. Can I ask you about something that seems strange to me? I'll listen to your story about men from the future some other time. As I recall, the body discovery announcement is made when 3 or more people discover a body, right? Is the killer also included among those 3 or more people? You don't sound very articulate. So you're saying it's unfortunate that I used it for deduction? I understand your excuse, but depending on who actually found the body, it's possible that your 3 or more people rule could be deadly. Flexibility, huh? So what about this time? Is it 3 people including the killer or not? Which means 3 people other than the killer discovered Mahiru's body. Nothing. I just thought it was somewhat strange. More importantly, let's get back to our original topic. It's going to be alright. If you guys have come this far, I'm sure you can discover that answer too. Now, let's start the argument, shall we? What did the killer do with the blood on their body? It seems you've realized who the killer is. See? Just as I thought. I see. Not just the bamboo sword, but even the sword bag too. She used them both to escape. Akane said she's like a ninja. But it's nothing as silly as that. Simply put, only Peko could have performed this feat. An escape plan befitting of the ultimate swordswoman. Even so, how disappointing. If you'd only let me work with you, it would have been an even greater plan. If you knew about that incident, then you must have played the game. Am I right? As a serial killer enthusiast, you're wondering if Peko is really sparkling justice. Am I right? Honestly, it felt strange to me too. I mean, there's a distinct difference between what we know about sparkling justice and Peko, right? You know, Sonia described sparkling justice like this. She called herself a tool, which means someone else used her then? I see. I finally understand. Well, I did have a sneaking suspicion all along. I mean, besides Peko and Hiyoko, someone else was also at the beach house. There is proof that establishes that fact. Try to remember it. Yep, that's right. I mean, didn't Monokuma say so earlier? That announcement is made when at least 3 people discover a body. And in this particular case, the killer, Peko, is not one of those 3. If that's the case, it would mean only Hiyoko and Kazuichi discovered the body, but plus, the fact that Monokuma tried to hide that truth from us by being flexible with his own rules, that's such a vital clue that it could alter the outcome of the trial. Like an accomplice, for example. Huh? Am I wrong? Therefore, that person would have the strongest motive out of anybody else here, right? If you were shown a photograph of your sister's dead body, you'd have no choice but to believe it. Even so, you wanted to deny the truth. That's why you sent those photos to Mahiru to confirm it. I see. That's what you were aiming for all along. I don't mind starting the trial, but I don't really have a grasp of how the case played out. You know, because I was asleep the whole time. Amazing! It's such a heart-pounding story! And then what did you do, Hajime? Why the motel? So that's how the case played out. Thank you. I understood it very easily. Wait, how do I know anything Hajime just said is true? Sorry, I'm only being impartial right now. And the story I just heard is clearly suspicious. Hajime, if you're the only one who saw the hanging video, and the first one to discover Ibuki's body, then you could be lying as much as you want right now, right? Obviously. So you could make us ignore what might be an inconvenient truth for you. If you're not lying, I would like you to prove it. Come on, try to prove it to me. Prove you're not the killer. Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious. That would also be a lie. Well, obviously, because he's the killer. The fact that the bodies were imitating the movie means it probably is Hajime's fault. Of course you're not. I already knew that. Before the incident, Hajime had never watched that movie. His invitation ticket is proof of that. Each person only received 1 ticket, and they're marked with a stamp that shows the date and time. Isn't that right, Monokuma? Which means there's no way Hajime, who never saw the movie, could commit murders that imitated it. Or did anyone tell him what happens in the movie? Of course no one did, right? Well, since we're opening with your witness testimony, I thought we should solidify the foundation. It also provides a good warm-up. Don't get mad. I just think warming up is really important. Especially since this isn't a game. There's another person who doesn't have an alibi. You know, Nekomaru. If they couldn't have done it while Hajime was away from the venue, they must have done it earlier than that. And when you went back with everyone else, Hyoko's body was there too, right? But it's possible that the body was just revealed at that time, when Hyoko was actually killed earlier. Of course, the body wasn't revealed on its own. The killer did that too. Here, I have proof. That's right, but just what is this scrap anyway? You're right. If you overlay the scrap that was caught on the lighting with the tear in the wallpaper, see? It fits perfectly. A mere nobody like me isn't important enough to answer that. But if you guys were exceptional enough to identify that scrap of paper, you can figure this out easily. Well, that's understandable. I mean, it makes sense that you'd notice Ibuki's body right away. The baton lighting forms a perfect circle around the pillar, so using it to hang the wallpaper totally fits. The killer must have been in a hurry. Their plan took too long. Hajime could have walked in on them, but the crime itself would be much easier to pull off since they don't have much to do while Hajime's gone. They just have to peel off that wallpaper and stash it in the storage room. It's not that big of a deal. Good point. And on that note, it's about time we shed some light on those imitation murders. Based on what we know, the reason the killer chose these imitations isn't that difficult to figure out. Wait a sec. There's something I want to run by Monokuma first. Hey, if the victim actually committed suicide, what are we supposed to do? Well, I understand Hyoko's death, but I'm wondering if Ibuki was really murdered. For example, it's possible Ibuki killed Hyoko, and then committed suicide due to a guilty conscience, right? She was afflicted by the despair disease, remember? That means anything can happen. Then she was alive. When Hajime first discovered Ibuki, she was just pretending to be dead. If she waited until Hajime left, that's when she could have made her move and mess with the crime scene. I see. So that means there's no doubt that someone killed those two. I'm glad. Now I'm free to search for the killer. There's still one more issue on my mind. If Ibuki didn't commit suicide, then just what was that video Hajime saw? According to that video you saw, Ibuki was by herself when she climbed the stepladder, right? Then does that mean someone forced her to do it? I don't know anything about that. So Ibuki hanged herself right before Monokuma's announcement. And since we established that Hyoko was killed before Ibuki, that means the time that the murders occurred was before and during the announcement. We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right? But committing an imitation murder, is that really all it was? Faking the time the crime occurred by falsifying the murder sequence, hiding their alibi in the process? Was that the only reason the killer made both bodies imitate the movie? I feel really bad for confusing you guys so much, but that's how I feel. I think the killer had a completely different reason for falsifying the murder sequence. It suddenly got quiet in here. Did I confuse you? If so, I wish I could die from self-loathing. If that's the case, it would have been just dandy if they had gone ahead and killed me too. If that happened, the imitation would have been perfect. So why didn't they do that? That rule is too harsh. I couldn't get killed because of that. Oh, am I allowed to speak? Oh, I'm so happy I'm getting goosebumps. Everyone actually needs help from scum like me! I was thinking about it while I had my mouth shut. But now I'm finally able to come to a conclusion. Ibuki definitely didn't commit suicide. I thought there might be a possibility that she faked her death and tampered with the crime scene. But now I remember. There was blood on Ibuki's slippers. So if she faked her death and walked around the music venue tampering with the crime scene, there'd be bloody footprints left in various places throughout the venue. So that's why I think there's no way she faked her death. There's no way Ibuki committed suicide. Really? That's annoying. I guess I should just awkwardly laugh about it then. You noticed such a small detail! How amazing! This is truly the talent of a chosen ultimate! But that's something only Hajime would know. since he's the only one who saw that video. That is truly strange. If the video showed the moment of Ibuki's death, then Hiyoko should have already been dead by that point, and there's no way the video was recorded in advance. If that's the case, the only thing I can think of is you're suggesting that the stepladder in the video isn't the only thing that's different. Am I right? That's amazing, Chiaki! All that gaming has given you incredible deduction skills! Is it okay to say that? And the moment Hajime left the music venue, the killer put back the camera they took. I see. The conference room. Indeed, the floor of that room is the same color as the music venue stage. So the killer chose the conference room because they realized the floor matched. That might have been another reason, but the main reason was probably to tamper with evidence. The lighting in the conference room and the music venue are so different. They couldn't be used during filming. That's why the killer used a candle as film lighting instead. But this must be a surprising turn of events for Hajime. You never suspected that the video you saw in the hospital was being filmed in the conference room. By that time, the real Ibuki must have already been killed. Now that you mention it, you guys brought that up earlier. Only Hajime and Nikon have an alibi. Not only that, the others in the hospital, Akane and I, we're both delirious from the despair disease. It's not literally impossible. Can't you give a better defense than that? Can you hold on a minute? Well, I know I'm being intrusive and all, and I mean, I have no place to say this. I missed all of the critical parts, and I doubt I have anything worth saying at an important time like this, but still. There's definitely no way I can overlook the killer this time. I thought it was suspicious all along. From the very beginning. Investigating with the suspect in mind creates a different result than investigating with no leads. Well, thanks to that, I was able to discover a truth that nobody else knows. I've been so focused on everybody else this trial. But I guess now's a good time to say it, right? Well, it's nothing big, really. Only a small, decisive clue that points to the killer. Let's take a look, shall we? Regarding the rope Ibuki was dangling from, this rope was supplied by the supermarket, right? There weren't any ropes inside the music venue. If they got it at the supermarket, that means it was brand new, right? I want you to take a close look at this rope. And keep in mind that it's brand new. Near the middle of the rope, it's frayed, as if it was rubbed strongly. But why is it like this? The loop Ibuki used to hang herself is on one end of the rope, and the part of the rope that hung from the baton lighting is on the other end. It means, well, from what I can infer, I think the rope was used like this. The killer wrapped the rope around Ibuki's neck, pulled both ends at full strength, and strangled her. The center of the rope is frayed because that's the part they used to strangle Ibuki. Not everyone cooperates at a class trial. Those who lie and conceal the truth will obviously be here too, just like this case's killer. I was just copying them a little bit, and then I finished speaking. Huh? You didn't notice it? I thought I made the decisive clue very clear. Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death, but we believed it was from a hanging. Why would that be? You should have been able to tell the difference between hanging and strangling just by looking. You, Mikan, the ultimate nurse. But even a drunk medical student can notice the difference between a hanging and strangulation. Don't you think her devotion to nursing is what helped her draw Ibuki to her death? And if not, her symptoms were still very serious and caused her to believe what anybody told her. It wouldn't surprise me if she willingly followed Mikan because she was nursing her. I'm not a criminal. Mikan is. I mean, she's a killer, you know. I'm sorry, but there's no way I can forgive you. I just can't forgive this crime at all. I see. You guys are kind. Well, if that's the choice everyone makes, then the only thing I can do is back off, I guess. But is that really okay? Is that everyone's hope? Is acting like this your strategy now? Well, this is annoying. Plus, to be honest, I've run out of ideas. How can we get you to admit it? That's the issue. We can't think of anybody else other than you who could have filmed that video. The only reason Nikon knew the camera angle Hajime had seen is because you're the person who actually filmed that video. Is that right? Taking your stubbornness this far. Such despair. It seems her desperate struggle is finally coming to an end. But we can't say for sure that that instinct is wrong, can we? There's another way to use that pillar to kill. You guys just haven't noticed it. You guys, same as usual. You're unable to clear a path to the future with your own powers. So you just stand there and falter. What a waste of talent. And you all intend to fight the Future Foundation? You make me laugh. Regardless, it's not like I want to die with the rest of you. So I guess I should lend a hand. I've learned a valuable lesson. Ignorance is by far the greatest shame. Well, first of all, the pillar itself is not enough, but when combined with a specific item, there's a way it could be possible. Of course, the ultimate weapon. Of course I know, but I'm pretty sure everyone else has seen it, you know? In order to clarify that, we first need to solve the secret of the funhouse. You still don't realize it? Jeez, get it together. You're supposed to be the symbols of hope, aren't you? I forgot. Except for Hajime, of course. If so, then what? Do you seriously think such a simple answer is the correct answer? Oops, I guess I've said too much. I thought it would come to this. I knew my turn was coming up. Fine. I'll tell you guys a big hint that can help you solve the secret of the funhouse. But then it wouldn't mean anything. I need you guys to do this class trial properly. It's also important for me because it will help me determine something. I have a good reason for that. The reason I'm the only one who knows it is because I was the only one who performed the appropriate action. That's right. The hint is what I saw after I cleared it. In the depths of the final dead room, there was a hidden room surrounded by concrete. And there, a small conspicuous window waited, all by itself. From that window, I saw some very strange scenery. Instead of explaining it, it might be faster just to show you. At an opportune time, I found a perfect camera in the final dead room. Yep, see? This is it. Let me explain it to you again. I took this picture on the first floor of Strawberry House, from the secret room within the final dead room. But don't you think it's weird? If the funhouse's structure is what you guys have been thinking, then there's lots of things that don't make sense in this picture, right? Then let's begin. Shall I call it thinking time? Yeah, it should have been. I see. And is that it? That's right. Good call. In summary, this is the truth contained in this photo. The first floor of Strawberry House is located in a high area, and Grape House is not behind the tower. From this point on, do your own thinking. Now that you've finally met the same requirements as me, if you guys are truly symbols of hope, you can easily solve a simple mystery like this. It might be possible for Hajime to solve it too, even though he's just a normal high school student. Despite the fact that you don't have a real talent, you already know about the other clue. I'm asking you just to be safe. At the time, where do you think I came from? Such sharp eyes. So you realized it already. What does it mean? Then let me hear it. What kind of answer will you give, I wonder? In order to conceal the unique design of the funhouse, Monokuma put us to sleep so we couldn't look at the outside of the building when he brought us to it. It was probably wrapped there by the killer to keep us as far from Strawberry Tower as possible because of that chain. You guys thought you couldn't enter there, right? The killer destroyed the Strawberry Hall button, so we'd stay away from Strawberry Tower. Everything was done to tamper with the evidence, so we wouldn't find out about the secret of the funhouse. The appearance of a body in the tower would contradict what we thought we knew about the building. In that situation, if we'd gone to Strawberry Tower, we'd have seen that contradiction firsthand, and using that as a clue, we might have discovered the truth. The truth that the two houses and the two towers are actually one complete vertical building. The killer wanted to keep us from learning that. That's why they made us stay away from Strawberry Tower. It would have been a major inconvenience. After all, this funhouse is strongly connected to the ultimate weapon that killed Nekomaru. Huh? You still don't know what the ultimate weapon is yet? It's what I found at the Octagon, you know. Oh my... I can't believe I have to explain that now. As long as you know what an Octagon means, you can solve this simple mystery easily. I didn't expect you to know that. For a substitute reserve course student, you're quite knowledgeable. I guess I should continue listening. Where is the place befitting of the name Octagon? That's basically the gist of it. The true identity of the Octagon is that secret room in the depths of the final dead room. In actuality, that place contained various weapons. That's a little different. I learned the true identity of the ultimate weapon at the Octagon. The true identity of the ultimate weapon is the funhouse, which means the killer used the building structure as their weapon and killed Nekomaru. Like me, the killer probably realized the secret of the funhouse from the scenery, and then thought of a way to kill making use of the building structure. That's why the killer tried to keep us from learning the mystery of the building. But more importantly, using the building itself as a weapon? Such a spectacular crime. It truly deserves to be called the ultimate weapon. There's no way I'd lie at such an important moment. I don't want to die either. He's right. There was a time when I thought I could become a stepping stone for your hopes, but I will sincerely retract that remark. I'm disappointed too, you know. If this was a murder for the sake of hope, I'd happily sacrifice myself. I see. So you're telling us all to think about the arrangement, right? And then, in order to make him fall from the force he was generating, the wire was hung on the tip of the doorknob so it would easily slip off. In actuality, the scrape marks caused by the wire were near the tip of the doorknob, right? When Nekomaru awoke, he must have struggled much more than expected, which caused the doorknob to break off. So thanks to that alarm, Nekomaru ended up falling while he was still hanging upside down. That doesn't mean he just crashed straight into the floor. Of course, you know that too, right? Well, the pillar was a bonus. It's not even clear if the killer intended that, or if it was just a coincidence. Oh, that's what I asked you to do. So you really listened to me and checked all the clocks. I see. So the killer messed with the time inside the whole building by changing all the clocks. This is truly fantastic! Or his scream. If we use that rumbling sound as a reference, we might be able to figure out how much our time was off. The reason is obvious. So they can lure out just Nekomaru. If you messed with the clocks and used a specific thing, you'd definitely get Nekomaru to the tower alone, right? From there, the killer's plan was a splendid success. That's all it means. We were required to go to Great Tower every morning at 7 a.m. for that activity, right? But if they mess with all the clocks inside the building, what would that do to us? That's right. In doing so, the killer was able to lure him to the tower by himself at the precise time. If I recall, you witnessed Nekomaru around 5 a.m., and if that time was also 2 hours off, it should have been 7 a.m. Yeah, that's pretty much it. At that time, he was heading over to Monokuma Tai Chi, right on schedule. Let's just ignore the peanut gallery. Now that we've found out how the killer lured Nekomaru, the number of suspects has drastically decreased. You'll know I'm not lying when you listen to what Fuyuhiko's going to say next. You witnessed Nekomaru going toward the tower. Did something else happen after that? If I may be frank, even if I wanted to go to the lounge, I couldn't. Not only did I not hear the alarm, I never even heard that rumbling sound. You still don't know. Think about what the three of us who didn't hear a sound have in common, and I'm sure you'll figure it out. That's right. It was because the deluxe rooms have superior sound insulation. You actually noticed that. Nice catch, Hajime. Are you using your ultimate reserve course student talent? Now then, you guys must understand by now, right? The true identity of Nekomaru's killer. Why? Well, that fact just now is a very important clue. and a decisive factor in identifying the killer. Gundam probably couldn't return to his room because of Fuyuhiko. After you saw Nekomaru heading to the tower, you stayed at the lounge for a while. Am I correct? Until the moment that alarm started ringing, right? If you were in the lounge for that long, the killer who had left earlier obviously wouldn't be able to go back. In their original plan, the killer should have returned to their room before the alarm in the lounge went off, and they were supposed to stay in their room. They weren't planning to come out and go to the lounge. The best case scenario would have been if those two in the lounge had gone to check the deluxe rooms. After all, if they personally saw the killer sleeping in their room, it gives the killer a stronger alibi. Unfortunately, they failed to secure that alibi, so the killer couldn't go back to their room, and ended up hearing the lounge's alarm. If those two had just checked the deluxe rooms as planned, that would have been ideal, but how ironic. The moment Fuyuhiko set foot in the lounge, your plan was doomed. I see. You're still holding out. Well, you don't have to admit it. We're going to decide who the killer is with the majority vote anyway. So, why don't we just go ahead and start voting? It's obvious that Gundam is the killer. You know, Hajime, this class trial, this killing, it's merely the opening act, you know. Perhaps I should say, it's just a farce. Just a boring farce. So boring, so stressful. I'm so painfully bored that I might develop stomach ulcers. Seriously. Let's just hurry up and finish this before I collapse from poor health. Well, let's just leave that fun for later. And finish this opening act already. But he's completely shut up. Perhaps he can't argue anymore. Huh? What are you talking about? Jeez. Once again, I let the reserve course show off. But you're right. There's a door on the floor of the octagon, which is on the first floor of Strawberry House. After I opened the door and went down, surprise, surprise! I ended up in the Monokuma Archive, which is on the third floor of Grape House. Plus, once you've cleared the final dead room once, you can pass through it as many times as you want. The only place I can think of is the octagon. There were various weapons and tools there. I'm pretty sure I saw stuff like wires, hammers, and chains too. It seems this is the end. Normally we'd end up listening to Hajime lecture us with a very long summary of the case, but there's no reason to waste any more time on this opening act, so I'm going to end this right now. First of all, by messing with all the clocks in the building, Gundam tried to lure only Nekomaru. The elevator was probably broken by that point. Thanks to that, Nekomaru wasn't able to go to Grape Tower, which was supposed to be the meetup point. So he tried going over to Strawberry Tower, just like we did when we found out the elevator was broken. Well, it's obvious he'd attempt that. At that time, we didn't know the two towers were the exact same place. Also, the button in Strawberry Hall wasn't broken, so he was easily able to enter Strawberry Tower. But surprise! Gundam was waiting for Nekomaru's arrival. Their plan was a balancing act of uncertainties. But even if they failed, they probably wouldn't have minded. They can just greet everyone the next morning as if nothing happened, and come up with a different plan. I'm going to continue summarizing the case, okay? Through this, Gundam successfully lured Nekomaru to Strawberry Tower. There's no way he could fight head-on with the robotic Nekomaru, so by pressing the goodnight button, he rendered Nekomaru powerless without fighting him. What's wrong with that? Why are you angry all of a sudden? And with this, the world will continue to loop. I'm Nagito Komaeda. Nice to meet you. Hey, you're right. Are you okay? Sorry. Hajime, what happened? But, nope, I'm lucky. Yep, how admirable. Thanks. Hello there. I'm glad. Alright, bye now. How unexpected. You caught me? Well, actually, this is... that's not it. I see. Perhaps Now then, you don't know? How mean. But, listen carefully. I see. It's obvious. It's the truth. Hope will never lose against despair. Wait, could it be? That's... How unfortunate. Man, well, someone like me, no good at all. I can't... There's no mistake. That's your destiny. Isn't that right? Now, stop it. You stay quiet. You don't even know? Bow to me. You have no luck. Such despair. I leave it to you. Why? Jeez. Well, that's obvious. Such a waste. Huh? What? That's weird. What to do? This is troubling. Such despair. Such hope. Amazing. Great. Hey! Amazing! This is exciting! Damn it! Impossible! Right? Now then. Well, and... See? How about it? Wait! You're the worst! No, that's wrong! Please, don't forget, from the bottom of my heart, I am truly in love with the hope that sleeps inside you. I wonder who's watching this message. Please call me the ultimate hope. Hey, can you hear me? Are you okay? You seem pretty out of it. To be honest, I'm also... No, everyone else feels the same too, since we suddenly got put in this weird situation. Hey, are you listening? Ow! For a long time, humans have been taught that if you try hard enough, you can accomplish anything, even if we weren't told this directly. You'd know it just by looking at the world around us. The internet, TV, and newspapers are overflowing with hopeful messages that say exactly that. But people who can't win, people who don't try to win, people who try their best and still can't win, they are all worthless trash. There are two kinds of people in this world. Those who are born with worth, and everybody else, no matter how hard a lowly human tries. They will never be the same as someone who was born worthy. They say that effort breeds success. But that's a complete lie. The world is not that accommodating. No matter how hard a small dog tries, it will never become a large dog. No matter how much a penguin tries, there's no way it will ever soar through the sky. Which means unworthy humans will never become worthy, no matter what they do. People with talent don't become talented. They're just born with their abilities right from the start. That's right. Just like you guys. That's why I have so much respect for you all. Just so you know, what I feel is different from admiration. Admiration is wishing you could be like the object of your admiration. But what I feel is not so self-serving. How should I put it? What I feel is more pure. More like a selfless love that wants nothing in return. So, I want you guys to believe me when I say, I don't mind if you kill me. But if that happens, I want you to let me help. I don't care if the killer survives, or if everyone but the killer survives. I just want both sides to do their very best. I want to see with my own two eyes the absolute hope that lies ahead. Yep, I'm really lucky. Someone as insignificant as me will be there when hope and despair collide and unleash their energy. So please, let me help you. If you're planning to kill me, I would be honored to help you carry out your plan. I want you to use me as a stepping stone so everyone can shine. I want you to kill me in a way that befits Hajime? Could it be? Did you take time out of your busy day to bring some food to little old me? Wow, I'm so happy. As you can see, I can't exactly greet you with my full hospitality. But feel free to relax. Huh? What happened? Your face looks kind of scary. Oh, you're not going to feed me? Well, I can't eat it on my own. You know, since my hands are all tied up. Actually, I was really embarrassed to ask a girl to feed me. So I'm glad you're the one who came. Anyway, what happened to my hero? Did she leave saying she had some business to take care of? By the way, I heard about Twilight Syndrome murder case, was it? I have mixed feelings. I really liked that game a lot. Oh well, I'm a little disappointed. It's not like you Ultimates to ignore the threat that's standing right in front of you. So are you really planning not to play the game? Do you think Monokuma will just let that slide? You guys should confront it. After all, hope springs when you confront despair. Hey, Hajime, weren't you planning to feed me? Hey, Hajime! There's still more. What am I doing? Playing Russian roulette, obviously. I've only removed one bullet, so there's only a 1 in 6 chance that I'll survive. It's not much of a talent, but even I have an ultimate level talent, you know? I'm the ultimate lucky student. But if I can't win when there's only a 1 in 6 chance of success, then what kind of ultimate talent is that? I mean, if my luck gets me killed like this, there's no way you can really call that talent. If I'm truly the ultimate lucky student, I need to survive here. Isn't that right? What are you doing? Tie me up, but I'm not struggling. You guys are really disappointing. How long are you going to continue behaving so short-sightedly? You gotta look at the big picture, you know? It's fine if you don't understand. You can just see the end without knowing. Now then, let's begin! The beginning of the end of Jabberwock Island! It's amazing! These amazing fireworks surely befit the beginning of the end! It's over. This is the end. The killings are done for good, scapegoating the weak in the name of justice, while fearing when the others will stab you in the back. This game of self-righteous hypocrisy ends now! And to do that, I will destroy Jabberwock Island! That was just a little demonstration. That's why it's the beginning of the end. The actual bomb I'm going to use isn't nearly as weak. I've set up a large number of bombs in a certain area of the island. If all those bombs explode, the force will be enough to wipe out this entire island. Of course, I doubt we'll walk away from this unharmed, but there's no other way. The actor is expected to leave the stage during the finale. No, that's not it. I'm not the crazy one here. The one who's really crazy is that hurts. But I'll never tell. If you really want me to spit it out, you should try torturing me or something. Maybe you can stab my fingers with that fork over there. Or scoop my eyes out with that spoon. If you're not willing to fill me with despair, there's no way my hope will ever I don't think you're just some random person. One mistake and I might have ended up just like you. I guess the reverse is possible too.